The National Federated Chamber of Commerce is calling for the urgent transfer of spaza shops to local community control. Nafcoc is also calling for the government, manufacturers, distributors, and financial institutions to recognize spazas and other township-based businesses in the value chain. Richard Zulu is Nafcoc's Secretary General and joins me now. So Zulu, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Why to just local communities?
Thanks, Vuyo, and thanks to Newzroom listeners for having me here. I think for far too long, black business has been locked out from the mainstream economy. And now is the issue of these spaza shops that we started as black community, and now it's also taken away from us. We believe strongly as Nafcoc that this business must go back to our people.
You have Herman Mashawa, the leader of Action SA, a businessman himself, who says, no, don't bar foreigners from owning spaza shops, but have legislation in place that will ensure that we know where their money, who they buy from, where their money goes, if they take any money out of the country, so that we know they are here illegally, and so on and so forth.
You know, this issue about us pushing a narrative that is not assisting our people, we will not support currently. And I'll tell you why. Over time, we've been engaging with many stakeholders, including government. And sometimes they'll push a narrative that our people are lazy, our people must do bulk buying, our people must do that, and blame on everything on our people. But it is clear, when these people came into the space of running spaza shops, when they find the South African running a spaza shop, they will make sure that they're blocking. And the other one will open a spaza shop this side and the other one this side and drop prices. So that's not fair competition. And they were taking advantage of lack of regulations in the space and lack of making sure that bylaws are being enforced. So we are then saying as Nafcoc, bylaws for people who own spaza shop and informal business generally must be enforced. We welcome the pronouncement by the president that law enforcement agencies must play an oversight role over this spaza shop business. And that Minister Shabisa has then came up with bylaws that must be enforced in the country. We also noticed that now lately, the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. Panyasa Supri, also mentioned that there will be an oversight over the implementation of bylaws. That's what government's role is. But we believe that our communities must offer solution to these problems. We cannot afford a situation where our children continue to die from these foodborne diseases. That is why we are calling for South Africans to take over the business. In actual fact, spaza shop business was initiated by South Africans themselves. It's not anybody that assisted them to do the business. It's just that it collapsed at some point because people didn't get enough financial support, obviously access to market, pricing was an issue, and that in itself created contradictions. But when these people approached our communities, they then offered them big monies for rental and promised our grannies, because they're targeting all people that are running these households and youth that are running households and promised them a lot of money. And because our people are poor, they went for all of these promises that they get from these foreigners. And we cannot, honestly speaking.
But
we believe spaza shop business must be regulated such that it favors South African communities. it must be owned in 90% to 95% by our communities.
But have are local spaza shop owners, local traders, taking any responsibility for anything that went wrong? Or do you just blame someone else?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, as an organization, we are taking responsibility ourselves because the Spaza Shop Association, including ADFI, are members of Nafcoc, and probably over time, we didn't give enough support and focused on supporting this informal trade and spaza shop owners. And I think that created an opportunity for these people to come in and take control of this sector.
What would you say is the single biggest lesson that township traders and township operators have learned or are taking away from this episode?
Sorry, come again? I didn't hear that.
I'm saying, what would you say is perhaps the single biggest lesson that local township traders have learned from this period where we've seen their spaza shops, their shops being taken away?
Well, I think as Nafcoc, we've started a process. After having acknowledged that we've not been supporting and paying attention too much to this sector, we've taken an approach that we are mobilizing all communities. We are talking to Sanko currently, Operation Tutula, Contralesa, all those progressive forces to say together, let's work on a program that will respond towards the ownership and taking over of spaza shop businesses by our communities. We believe that communities will offer solution to these challenges. And these forces that we are engaging currently, we are in agreement, all of us, that we must work out a program that will make sure that these businesses come back to our people. To that extent, to that end, we also are in engagement with the various departments. NEC of Nafcoc has deployed people in different provinces to continue to engage our structures in different provinces, Department of Economic Development in the different provinces, premiers in different provinces. We already have engaged tech brands, and we are yet to finalize the modalities of how we're going to be supporting spaza shop businesses. This coming Friday, we'll be having a meeting with DTIC just to ensure that the department responsible for cooperatives and spaza shop support also come on board so that they can also offer support to our endeavors.
Richard Zulu, let me thank you very much for your time as the Secretary General of Nafcoc.